So today I would like to have a very serious conversation with you all about sm2 and the legitimacy and basically this whole notion that Activision's coming after it and all this kind of stuff. This is a response video, essentially, and I find it funny because response videos used to be something we actually did on YouTube. I'm a boomer, I'm sorry, but it's funny to me that was an actual thing. I think we call them like reaction channels basically now. But anyway, I want to respond to a video that Tabris uploaded, and his video was called "sm2 will most likely get shut down. Here's why." And this is no stab to Tabris. I've actually spoken to him on multiple occasions. Very cool guy, very good guy. He's a little edgy, but that's his character and that's his like persona. He can troll a little bit, and I think this video that he uploaded was completely serious. I don't think it was a troll or anything like that. I think he was actually genuinely serious because it is a hot topic to talk about. And I basically want to convey to you why this notion that Activision might come after sm2. Basically, I'm going to try to convince you in this video that it is not for you to worry about. And I'm not trying to come here and attack you or anything. I just want you as the listener to really understand where I'm coming from, what my history is, what I've seen throughout all of these communities throughout the years, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So first off, who am I? I am Leon. I have been in the Call of Duty modding client scene for about 10 years or more, and I started all the way back from AlterIWNet. Now, I owned Modern Warfare 2 on Steam back at the time. I was not trying to get a freebie. What's funny is that I got VAC banned because, well, being an edgy kid back then, 15 years old, 14 years old, I wanted to use menus and mods and things like that. So I got VAC banned on Steam, and I felt pretty crappy about it. And so I basically wanted another alternative or had to buy it again, right? I didn't know. Well, then I was Googling around and I saw this thing called AlterIWNet, and I was starting to kind of get more research. I visited their forums, I read the tutorial, and I was like, this actually kind of seems cool. Modern Warfare 2 for free, very cool to play, even for the people that are VAC banned. And to me, that was something that was revolutionary, and back then it was. And I kind of want to go over the small technicalities of AlterIWNet and how it worked, and ultimately why it faced a cease and desist. So AlterIWNet essentially was created by this guy named NT Authority, and he also worked with another guy that he was kind of collabing with at the time, I believe. I don't know his name, but I know that he collabed with him. Essentially, they found a fatal flaw in the IWNet host file. Now, what does that mean? That basically means that there was a host file that was inside of the Modern Warfare 2 directory that was pointing traffic to this destination in order to get its matchmaking data or to fetch its data, essentially. So there was a fatal flaw, of course, in that. And so essentially what they did is there's how can we take this and connect to our own services? And well, he did. He spent all this time reverse engineering to what we see even IW4X today, even though that was completely rebuilt. But with AlterIWNet, he essentially reverse engineered Demonware. He reverse engineered the database basically in order to keep player information and player data. He was able to do that kind of stuff and essentially created a simple authentication method for people to create an account on his website, or on their website at the time, because it was now a whole team by this point. And essentially, you could just create credentials and sign in. So by this point, you could literally go into AlterIWNet instead of IWNet, which was what the Steam version was called, and you were able to hit Find Match, and it would point that host file that they reverse engineered essentially with everything else to their matchmaking services, or AlterIWNet's matchmaking services. They were private servers that they were running to handle all these requests. And that was a huge no-no, especially around the time and the popularity of Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 was, of course, in its prime at the time, so Activision did send a cease and desist to AlterIWNet. And that ultimately made the final decision to say, all right, we're cutting everything off, turn everything off. We don't want any legal action, being, taken by Activision. But I want to note something. Notice how I said want to take legal action. They never did. And so, again, I want to reemphasize something. They were sent a cease and desist. There was never any public court filings. There were never anything like that. So let's move on. Now let's talk about 4 Delta 1. What was 4 Delta 1? 4 Delta 1 was basically a reimagining of AlterIWNet by the same exact developer, NT Authority. He decided to come back into the scene. Even after he got a cease and desist, that didn't necessarily scare him away. He went ahead and went right back to work and continued on this notion of Modern Warfare 2 basically being an open platform for any modders to be able to create whatever kind of game modes or fancy stuff they wanted to spawn in, whatever they wanted. Basically, that was his goal, is to make an open platform where modders could be able to create their own content and put it inside of the 4 Delta 1 client. So what happened to 4 Delta 1? Well, 4 Delta 1, instead of using the matchmaking services, he stripped all of that out and created to what we see today, kind of like an IW4X, a server browser. And 4 Delta 1 basically was a reimagining of what AlterIWNet was. And so with all of that going on, NT Authority decides to get involved in another project. So maybe none of you have actually heard of this project, but I wouldn't really put it past you, right? I would completely understand. But there's this famous game called GTA 5. You may have heard of that one, maybe not. I don't know. But there's this small thing called FiveM that exists that I'm pretty sure no one is streaming or anything like that. I can't imagine, but. All jokes aside, NT Authority was working on something called Citizens FX. Well, at least he was working with a team, at least at the time. And that would become the framework for FiveM. And I don't know if they still even use it. I know that he was a large contributor of Citizens FX, of course, along with other developers and things like that. But with that being said, at the time, Take-Two, the publisher behind Rockstar, did not take kindly to this. They already knew that NT Authority had some reputation from Activision. Whether that really justified their next actions, I'm not sure. But, however, Take-Two did send private investigators to his house. You may have heard about this story if you know anything about FiveM, because FiveM used to not be as so familiar or friendly to, from Rockstar than what it is today. Of course, it generates tons of sales for Rockstar now, or from Steam and all that kind of stuff, because it requires you now to own a legal copy of GTA 5 on the Rockstar launcher. And so with that being said, that essentially, going back to the history of it, while he was working with 4 Delta 1 and creating this Modern Warfare 2 client, he essentially got private investigators again sent to his house, and they actually sat there and questioned him about just, I don't know. At this point, I have no idea what happened, but all I know is that he started basically kind of like a GoFundMe campaign. I don't know if it really was like GoFundMe back then, but I know that they were starting to accept donations on the website to basically build up a court. They wanted to actually take this to court. They actually wanted to countersue Take-Two at the time. And so he was actually starting to try to get funds to defend himself. And at the end of the day, I think that went nowhere. I'm not even sure what happened to the funds. I mean, FiveM is what it is today. It's insane. It's super huge. Everybody, if you don't know what FiveM is now in GTA 5, then I mean, you've been living under a rock. And I think that that was extremely interesting. But again, I want to notate, never taken to court, never any monetary, damages ever been sued by like Take-Two, at least in this case, to NT Authority or any of his project team or anything like that. So I want to go into SM2 now. And I want to preference, I have absolutely no affiliation with SM2. I am not on the staff. I don't know anything about what's going on in development. Don't try to ask for me for release dates. I have no idea. They don't even know. But the team around SM2 is awesome. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. They are great. They are a great set of people. And honestly, I would back them any day. But out of all of that. This video is not about that. This video is about this notion that SM2 is going to be shut down by Activision. Now, I am no, fortune teller, right? I can't tell you what Activision is going to do. But here's what I can say. Out of all of the evidence that I've provided today, a project has never been taken to court. A project has never been taken to a public filing. I even just double-checked and re-verified. Nothing has actually been to court about a Call of Duty client. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not a fortune teller. I can't tell you what is or is not going to happen. But what I can say is this notion that Activision is going to come after them. What do you guys think of the devs, right? What do you guys think how they feel about that kind of comment? They're working during their free time. They are not taking donations. They have no Patreon. They have no way of actually taking monetary money other than Discord Nitro, which is to help Discord at the end of the day. That's not even that. I mean, they of course appreciate, Discord Nitro subscriptions added to their server. But the thing is they don't take anything. It is not up to us or up to me, up to you to have to worry about this kind of thing. Let them do what they do best. Develop Call of Duty clients for the masses. They are working on a very ambitious project. They have provided updates. They are continuing to work on it. They don't have a release date, but at the end of the day, we've already waited long enough for the perfect Call of Duty, as you would like to say. And honestly, if Activision wants to go after them, so be it. Oh well. It was a great run. But again, no client has been taken to court. None of them. And so again, I don't know what else to say here other than the fact that I really appreciate everything that the devs are doing. I'm not worried about Activision at all taking anything down. Because it's not up to me, right? It's not up to you. It's not up to anybody other than if Activision wants to claim that that is their intellectual property. But honestly, man, I'm just a guy that talks in front of a microphone. You can make a decision for yourself, honestly. And so, anyway, guys, consider liking the video. Subscribe if you want some more content. You've been watching SM2, brand new gameplay, by the way, of the Gauntlet and a few of the map showcasings. Sorry that my voice is a little raspy. I've been kind of in and out, kind of exhausted, tired, sick, and I'm losing my voice. So, anyway, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. You all have a good one. Peace.